we'll get started. First of all, I want to do an announcement about tomorrow, that on Wednesday, August 31st, the Dole Institute of Politics is having a roundtable called The Fall of the Soviet Union, 2 Decades Later, and Professor Norman Saul, Shannon O'Lear, and Maria Amelicheva will be there. It's at 7:30 p.m. at Hanson Hall. Everybody should go. And it is my great honor to introduce to you my dear friend, Slavisa Rakovic, who's visiting from Belgrade. Slavisa and I used to work together for American Councils for International Education in Belgrade. Well, he still works there, I don't, obviously. He did his undergraduate in political science and Arabic studies at Belgrade University. He has a master's in human rights at Sarajevo and Bologna University. And right now, he is a PhD candidate at the Ljubljana Graduate School for the Humanities. His dissertation, which he is defending in September, is on the structure of socio-political representation of Europe-Islam relationship. Pretty heavy stuff. He made me read the abstract. Today, he will be lecturing on democracy 10 years later, politics and identity of minorities in Serbia. So now I will turn it over to you.
Thank you. So should I just direct this over there, or I'm not technically educated person. Okay, so my name is Slavisa. Yeah. I'll be talking about politics and identity politics related to minorities, primarily ethnic minorities in Serbia. I know that some of you are from Serbia and some of you are heavily involved in the research on Serbia and the region of former Yugoslavia. Some of the information here may be, what the word did you use? Remedial. Right? Okay, but I guess that there are some of you that may not be that acquainted with the region. So, and especially when we speak about the identity politics and politics of identity related to minorities living in Serbia, we need to go through some background information this way. Okay. So basically, you all know that Serbia was part of former Yugoslavia. This is former Yugoslavia. Serbia was one of the republics. We had 2 autonomous provinces, Northern Vojvodina and Southern Kosovo and Metohija. Kosovo and Metohija would be Serbian name, and only Kosovo would be Albanian name. And actually, the reason why those provinces were created is actually the existence of minorities, Albanian minority and Turkish minority living in the south, in Kosovo, and Hungarian minority and other minorities such as Croatian, Ruthenian, Slovak, Romanian, Ukrainian minorities living in the western province of Vojvodina. So these one of the reasons that the provinces were created was actually to accommodate specific minority rights in what was then former Socialist Republic of Yugoslavia. So, according to its constitution adopted in 2006, Serbia is a republic asymmetrically decentralized. It consists of so-called Central Serbia, which is not a political entity, it's just a geographical name. It doesn't have any specific political representation. And 2 autonomous provinces, Vojvodina and Kosovo and Metohija. However, as you all know, in 1999, after the war in Kosovo, Kosovo got under the jurisdiction of United Nations. In 2008, it declared independence. The independence of Kosovo is not recognized by the government of Serbia, and Serbia still considers Kosovo as part of its territory, which is a matter of an international dispute. Actually, much of the international community, actually UN member states, including the US, recognized Kosovo as an independent country. So my presentation here, I'm not taking any position on Kosovo's independence here because how should they, like, reason and emotions, when they start, how should I put it, like quarreling. I never know, when people ask me what my position on Kosovo is, I never know what answer to give. So basically this presentation will be about the politics and identity with regard to minority issues in Serbia without Kosovo, since Kosovo is not under the jurisdiction of Belgrade government. However, I will refer to minority issues in Kosovo when I speak about the period in the 90s, because at the time Kosovo was part of Serbia. So basically there are two views of Serbia, and I'm so happy that on Friday both Austins spoke about cognitive maps. So this is how most of the Serbs, I guess, and the government in Serbia sees Serbia, and this is how much of the international community sees Serbia. So you see Kosovo. You know, I took these two maps from the internet. So it really depends. When you go on the official website of the American Embassy in Belgrade, you'll see this map. And for instance, Russian or like Romania still hasn't recognized Kosovo. You will see this map. So Kosovo is over here. Serbia facts. Serbia, according to the latest census, which was conducted in 2002, had, without Kosovo and Metohija, because at the time it wasn't possible to do census in Kosovo, had something about 7.5 million population. However, due to high immigration rate, very low birth rate, Serbia is losing its population, and it's a matter of concern actually, since the population is aging. Many people are leaving, and during socialist times we had so-called, we called it in German, zwei Kinder, two children system, and now it's like, sometimes I'm joking with my friends, no children system, because simply we struggle economically, and lots of people decide to postpone having children because they don't have their own apartment, salaries are really low. So for instance, average salary in August was 375 euros, and even though I work with the American organization, I still don't know the rates between US dollars and euros. So average salary in Serbia is 375 euros, and around 9.5% of Serbia's population is officially unemployed. Many of them actually do have some kind of job, mostly in grey economy. I could say that lots of members of my extended family are officially unemployed, but they all work in grey economy. For instance, my family survived. My mother actually was smuggling cigarettes from Montenegro to Serbia in the 90s, and that is how actually they were able to pay for my, I didn't need to pay for tuition fee, but for my life in Belgrade, which was quite expensive. Yeah. So, ethnic diversity in Serbia. I found some very nice photos. So, you see here, this is ethnic map of Serbia. And the funny thing is, when we speak about diversity, either like in a everyday language or in the academic discourse or political discourse, when you speak about diversity, unfortunately, we only speak about ethnic diversity. So, for us, we even adopted the word from English, diversitet. When we speak about diversitet, when we speak about diversity, we speak only about ethnic diversity, whereas Serbia is a country where people lead different lifestyles, go for different political ideologies. I have here, like, this is a photo from the protests of anarchists in Belgrade. Anarchism is terrorism, and anarchism is not terrorism. Here we have Hare Krishna guys on the streets in Serbia. So basically, and here women in black protesting. So, however, when we speak about diversity, we unfortunately speak only about ethnic diversity. So Serbia is very ethnically diverse. Blue, you see here in blue color are Serbs. Green, I don't know why they put green for Bosniaks, because green is a kind of like color of Islam. I'm from this region, from what Serbs call Raška and Bosniaks call Sanjak region. I'm from this region. Here, Hungarian minority is in this, what kind of color is this, like purple? And here we see region where Vlah minority lives. Actually, Vlah is the name that Serbs and other South Slavs use for Aromanian-speaking population living in eastern Serbia. In their language, they pronounce it something like a Rumun, and they speak some sort of Romanian language, even though it's not standardized Romanian language. Here we have Albanians living in South Serbia, so Albanians outside Kosovo, and Bulgarian minority on the border with Bulgaria. However, there are other minorities living in Serbia. For instance, Slovaks. Slovaks came to Serbia at the end of the 18th century because at the time this was so-called borderland, and religious. Most of the Slovaks living in Serbia are Lutherans, so they came to southern Austro-Hungarian Empire because the religious freedoms are kind of like, especially put it like. They could freely enjoy exercising their religion in what is now Northern Serbia or Vojvodina region. We have a Ruthenian minority. They're Greek Catholic. They're Slavic. They came from what is now Slovak Republic, and most of the people I meet do not know who Ruthenians are, unfortunately. And Andy Warhol was of Ruthenian origin. So, yeah, that is what most of the people don't know. And I happen to have, like, there are like 15,000 Ruthenians, and sometimes I feel that I know all of them, because I have students from that region. And like, whenever I see their name, then I ask them, what's your first language? They would say Ruthenian. I'm like, God, officially there are like 15,000. Are you all coming to exchange programs? Yeah. So, this is actually something that, like, when we speak about the situation of minorities in Serbia, and I should say, when we speak about the situation of minorities in the Balkans, I like to call it ethnic trap. These are some concepts that I collected from books that I've read recently. We had so-called flight from modernization. In former Yugoslavia, minority rights were the legal framework, and the respect of minority rights was on a quite high level. There was discrimination, especially discrimination of Roma. However, the beginning of the 90s, all the, how should I put it, like, progress? All the progress, all the achievement was, in a way, like, put aside. Latinka Perić, she's a Serbic historian from Belgrade, she calls it flight from modernization. What we also have in the Balkans and in Serbia, we have ethnic versus civic definition of the nation. And also this is something, ethnic lords, even minorities in Serbia, some of our minorities, and especially political representatives of minorities in Serbia, are quite politically conservative. And sometimes people feel, and members of minorities feel, that they are trapped into their own group. Because whenever something like, what we speak about ethnicity, and that is what is top priority on the political agendas of minority parties. When they get power, for instance, in my hometown, there is a Bosniak party who is in power. In northern Serbia, in some communities, there are Hungarian ethnic parties who are in power, and they just turn out to be, when it comes to corruption and the violation of public funds, they are just like mainstream Serbian parties. Before every election, they would play identity card, even though there is a need. Implementation of minority rights it is far from being perfect, but still sometimes ethnicity card is played just to gain votes. So religion is used as an ideology in the public sphere, and we have this both among Serbs, and I should say Catholic Church is not that strong in this regard, but also we have it when it comes to Bosnian minority living in Sanjak. Religion is used to homogenize Bosniak population, and recently, actually 3 years ago, the Islamic community split into two, and it is now a matter of huge dispute, and there are very, I should say, not nice things going on over there, because two Islamic communities are fighting against each other. One of them is pro-Bosnian, and one of them is kind of like a local Islamic community, and it feels one of them is kind of supported by the Serbian state, whereas the other one, which is bigger and I would say stronger, is a kind of like builds its legitimacy on the opposition towards Serbia, the state of Serbia. And there is also something that I took from Sretan Todorov. He's a Bulgarian sociologist living in France. He writes in French. From his book, The Fear of Barbarians, I call it here, this is what actually a translation from French to English, called Competition of Memories, and then I discussed with Mark. Serbian translation is Nadmetanje sećanja, and then I discussed this with Mark Greenberg, and his translation would be rivalry of memories. That is something that actually, I should say, drives much of politics in the Balkans and in Serbia. So when you look at the political agendas before every election, you will see that memories are being employed just for the sake of gaining. And some Serbian communities on Wikipedia, if you read them in Serbian and Albanian, and I have Albanian colleagues who are ready to translate for me, you can see that they totally, as if they speak a totally different universe. So here, for instance, this part of Serbia, in the 19th century, there were Albanians living there, together with Serbs. Serbs were majority, there was Albanian minority, and when Serbia got independence from the Ottoman Empire, Serbs would say that Albanians left, Albanians would say that they were forced to leave, and when you read Wikipedia entries about these small villages here, who are now totally, like, there are very few people living there, when you read them in Albanian, you will never get information that Serbs live there. When you read them in Serbian, you will not get information that Albanians live there. So basically there is something that, and memories are constantly employed just for the sake of the political gain, but overall they in a way enforce the situation in which communities are still staying apart, even though the situation improved a lot. That's true, for instance, for this region here. I was growing up calling it Novi Pazar only because all my family is from Novi Pazar. Serbs call it Raška Oblast, which is, Ras was the capital of a medieval Serbian state. Bosniaks call it Sanjak. At some point, I guess it was in the end of the 14th century, it became, this part became part of the Bosnian kingdom, and now Bosniak politicians claim that actually it is part, not part of Bosnia, but that there is a tradition of belonging to Bosnia. The same goes for Hungary, which is got under the control of the kingdom of Serb, Croats and Slovene after World War I. Hungarians lost it at the Trianon conference, and you can see actually that like these memories are still competing against each other. And I guess I spoke a lot, so I guess there is some time for your questions, and then after that we should evacuate the premises. Yes, with my email. Questions?